What does dearest Vincent dream of tonight?
You will see in a secundo. Alright, so yeah, I'm live, and this is purely for the sake of recording. What this dream is, it's gonna be pretty linear, but part of the story is that it's kind of a mystery, so you will have opportunities to see and do what you like, and tell me what Vincent does.
Oh God.
It also might be a little bit short because I realized I didn't write as much as I thought I did, but that's okay because you said you had to be somewhere today anyway.
I know,
And
right?
and there's also like room for you to take control of your character and say what he does or do what he says.
He's my dead man.
All right. So, without further ado, let's just get started. All right. So, Dark Dream, Act 1. Dream titled Auto. Act 1. Art is the tree of life. Science is the tree of death. You remember reading that in a poem once, when both your eyes worked and your muscles didn't feel constantly sore. You take a long look at the body you have now and see death writhe within you. A cold pox stiffening your limbs. A death that is also torture. How can something natural also be this painful? Is this even part of nature? What is happening to you? And most importantly, how much time do you have left? With a wagon in hand, you look along for a worthy specimen. You are out on an expedition to search for bodies to answer the question of your disease. You begin with the hypothesis that your condition is a premature initiation of rigor mortis, or stiffness of death. The question has taken too long to answer through conventional science. You are tired of coming up empty-handed by following the scientific method of your peers, so you take your gaze to the unconventional, your own scientific method. After all, how is anyone supposed to discover anything without the imagination to break the rules that no longer work? It is frigid in the air. The snow and dirt covers a coffin beneath you at an unmarked grave. The air tightens your muscles even more, but you are able to shovel out the debris, and you see before you a corpse, devoid of life. Okay. Give me an investigation check now. Just to see what you see.
Investigation. 15.
Pretty good. Okay. So, you know that adenosine triphosphate depletes in a body's cells merely within a matter of hours after death, so you do not have a lot of time before oxygen begins leaving the body's cells. Diagenesis hasn't occurred yet in the bones, and it still twitches when exposed to electric stimuli from your hands, meaning its nerves are still intact. Likely preserved by the cold. It doesn't have a gravestone, so you don't know its identity either. And you have a thought. Yes, you're perfect. You load up the body into your wagon. It's head heavy, but nothing too bad for you. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. What did you say?
I just said, like, fantastic.
Okay.
But let me ask you this, though.
Yes.
In this dream, at this point, do I already have my modifications?
Yes.
Okay.
How do you wish to interact with the corpse you have right now in your wagon right now? Do you wish to do or say anything to it?
It was an unmarked grave, and he'll kind of just say, like, a pity, unknown person, but at least in death you'll have a purpose and a new life. Once we get you back home, I'll come up with a proper name for you. Then loads it into his cart and he puts away.
Alrighty. After some time, you take it back to your lab. Pushing aside robotic parts and gears you have at your laboratory, you set it up on a metal table. You turn down the heat within your laboratory to try and preserve it before it begins decomposition. Now, with a warm coat on and goggles, you begin an autopsy to discover how this body died. The foot appears to be a dark blue, as if blood circulation was cut from the ankle. Excuse me. You look to the ankle and can see signs of asphyxiation around the lower legs, suggesting something had it in a grip. The torso appears bruised, and there is a noticeable hematoma along the subject's rib cage. Do you know what a hematoma is?
Yes, I do.
Okay. You check the shoulders, and the clavicle bone seems broken on both sides. Lastly, you check its eyes for any segmentation of retinal blood vessels, or trucking. Via ophthalmoscopic examination, or examining the eyes, you look for signs of trucking and can see the eye is bloated. Blood vessels are popping out of the corpse's eyes and are entirely unresponsive to any light you show it. It looks absolutely horrid, and you are entirely enamored by the disturbing beauty of it. Okay. Based on the visible signs that this corpse has, how do you suppose it might have died?
So, what I've seen so far is his leg seems to have been, like, trapped by something, and, like, there was no blood flow to get to it, correct?
Correct.
Does the body look emaciated?
It doesn't look too emaciated. In fact, it was a little bit heavy. So, aside from being a bit cold and wet because of the snow, you would say that some muscle fatigue or loss was a bit preserved by the snow.
Okay. So I'd almost at that point then reckon it seems like definitely something was caught around his leg, and I don't know if this is me overthinking it, but like maybe some sort of clot that then traveled to his heart, causing him to die.
Well, keep in mind, he also had a broken clavicle.
And that's what, on the neck?
The clavicle bone is like the bone that is in between the neck and the torso. It is above the ribcage. So, it is probably true that he was ensnared by the leg, but blood clotting wouldn't break his bones.
It was a big clot. Okay. So, does it almost seem like this guy was murdered? Like, is there enough bruising at where the clavicle is for, like, enough blunt force trauma to, like, maybe almost paralyze him at that point? Well, no, not paralyze him, but, like, I don't know, like, almost render him immobile?
Give me a medicine check.
That'll be a 19.
You would say yes. It does seem like the body might have been attacked before dying.
Okay.
You also decide to take another look at the eyes. The eyes appear swollen and very red.
In the stream, do I have everything that I had on me last session?
Um, no. No, you don't. This is very much in isolation, so I would say you do not
Okay.
have everything you have last session. Just ask me what you would like, and I will see if you can maybe find it in your laboratory.
It was, I guess, more so for flavor. I was gonna see if I had the Golfius staff, whatever it is, so I
No.
could summon like a little like henchman to like fetch me my tools.
No, you do not have
Just something little
you do
like
not
that.
have the
Okay.
Gothias staff.
Then I get my tools myself, whatever. I will try to ascertain some sort of magnifying glass to look more into his eyes. Would I know the difference between like drugged out like eyes like that versus like is are the way these eyes are presenting right now typical of a corpse?
Um, Based on what you know, uh, this is the signs of the blood flow to the eye. You you know that it is likely not a result of drugs, or at least you don't think so.
Mm-hmm.
But you do know this. When a person is held upside down, it is common for trucking to occur, or swelling of the eyes.
Okay. If I look at like his other leg, right? Because only one of them had looked like it was uh asphyxiated.
Hmm. What are you looking for?
Like maybe like muscle tears like on his other leg from being like hung upside down if he was there for like a long period of time.
Give me your choice of investigation or medicine check.
I will do investigation. I suck 9.
Um, the the skin, the epidermis, is kind of hiding any sort of results for internal muscle evaluation.
Okay.
Is there anything else you would like to look at?
Um, at this point, no. I guess I'll just take a look at like the rest of his limbs to see like how viable they are for like extractions, like what things I could maybe take from them.
Um, his arms, his arms seem about a similar length to your own. They're not super strong looking, but not very weak either.
Hmm.
Um, Let me ask you this. Based
Yes.
on the asphyxiation of the leg, specifically by the ankle, and the breaking of the clavicle bone, and the trucking within both the eyes,
Hmm.
how do you think this corpse might have died?
A couple of thoughts, like maybe he was, or they, I don't know their gender. Are they
It's male.
male or female? Okay. Um, Perhaps he was like, those like old-timey, I guess not really old-timey, but like the noose traps that'll like catch a rabbit by the foot or something like that, but like on a larger scale, that
Hmm.
then like flips them up. Um, maybe it was that and like he was there, like maybe he was too tall for the trap and like as he was flung up and his natural body weight and gravity like put him back down, he was too big or too heavy to and then he fell down to the ground or on a rock and maybe that's what like broke his neck and then he was like maybe found there. Um that's what he's thinking right now.
Hmm. Okay.
Or just like captured and hung upside down. But if there's also like no other like bruising around his body, I would say that would be kind of suspicious if he was just if like those are the only visible. Uh,
He has a hematoma around his rib cage, so like the side of his body. He
mhm.
has broken clavicle bones, so right over his chest,
Yep,
asphyxiated ankles, and trucking within the eyes. So you are pretty confident in deduction that he was held upside down,
for sure.
and the eyes also prove this as well.
Hmm.
The only thing you might not 100% know of is how the bones broke, or how the hematoma formed.
Yeah. The damage on his chest, can I discern any like shapes that they're in? Does it look like it's like from a punch, or is it like a straight line? So like a an
I
object hit
see.
it.
Give me a investigation check.
Hiya. 13.
Okay, decent. Uh, it's pretty swollen and almost circular in shape, but it is wide enough to deduce that it may have come from a blunt object.
Okay. So I would say that maybe like would help his case in deducing maybe this man, like maybe it wasn't an accident, like he was captured, uh, or just not even captured, maybe just like murdered,
Mm-hmm.
um, hung upside down, beaten maybe for information, or maybe he was like a bad guy or something like that, and then they broke his clavicle and probably as a uh, side effect from the beating or whatever have you. Is it just one bruise on his torso though?
As far as you can tell, yes.
Okay. Like, do I have this guy right now like naked on the table? Like, am I able to like investigate his whole body, or do I have to
Yeah,
like
you can
say I
investigate. You
do
can
that?
investigate his whole body.
Okay,
Gi-
I'll do that. Another investigation.
All right, which part of his body are you investigating?
Everything, head to toe.
All right. His his face seems a bit gaunt, but that could easily be deduced by him being dead for a bit.
You
Uh,
look awful.
um, his muscle structure is a bit well toned,
Hmm.
likely preserved by the snow. The hematoma, the eyes, the ankles, all has you've seen before. Um, the like abdominal section is a bit a little bit emaciated. Like you can see some area of the pelvic bone.
Hmm.
The gonads are the same, shriveled. The legs, the legs are a little bit scarred, as if small puncture wounds were made into them.
How many puncture wounds can I find?
Give me a perception check.
Reception. Could I argue that it would be either like investigation or medicine if I'm like hands-on looking at the body?
Yeah.
Okay. God. 7 for investigation.
You don't see many, but you can see at least two or three. They're pretty small, so they're more like scar tissue.
Okay.
And then the feet are also a bit skinny, not much meat to them. You can see kind of like the bone protruding from the skin,
Hmm.
as well as signs of like the cutoff of circulation from the ankle.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So based on what you see, you can kind of tell that this body has been dead for at minimum a couple of hours or days. You're not sure.
Okay, so it's still rather fresh.
It is pretty fresh, but you also don't know how dead it is or how long it's been because of the snow.
Sure. Now that he's here, if excuse me, if I nick him with a blade, does the body bleed?
Look around for some kind of scalpel or knife or dagger.
Would my laboratory not have a scalpel?
It certainly would. So you look around for a scalpel. You have a rusted one to your side. You puncture it. Say, where do you want to stab it?
Um, I will stab it just in like one of the arms.
The
Like maybe on the upper arm, like by the shoulder, like where you get a shot,
okay,
you know.
the lower shoulder. You you puncture the skin a bit. It's very tough. The skin is very tough. You kind of
Interesting.
can't puncture it. If you wish to try again, maybe with a better object, you'll have to give me a strength check.
I mean, I guess like what does my lab have?
You have a collection of robotic gears, some machinery, some surgical tools, embalming tools, anything that can be used to make a robot or dissect the body. You have just about everything you might need. You've been a necrologist and an engineer for years at this point.
Okay, well, I will either sharpen the scalpel I have or get another one, and I'll try to stab it again.
Okay, once you do one of those things, give me a strength check.
Strength check. 18.
All right, pretty good. Uh, you do manage to puncture the skin.
Poke.
Uh, you wait around a bit for some kind of bleeding to occur, but you're distracted by a sound. You hear a knock at your door.
Who could be coming around at this hour? Hmm. I'll lean over to the body and say, just a moment, and I'll get up and I'll go over to the door.
Do you leave the scalpel in his arm?
No, I'm holding it.
Okay. So you go over to the
Hold
door.
this for me. Stab.
Yeah. You go over to your front door. Do you open it or do you ask who's there?
What time of day is it?
It's
Like by the
about
time I got home, would it be like 2 a.m. or something?
it's about early in the day, maybe 5 to 6 a.m.
Hmm.
Like
Uh,
just before dawn.
I will call out, "Who's there?"
You hear a gruff voice say, "This is the city guard. We're here to investigate a potential murder."
You think I murdered someone?
We're just here to talk to any potential witnesses. Can we come in?
Hmm. How? Like, I'm assuming my living room isn't my lab, right?
No, no.
It's
You could.
like, okay,
Your lab is like your basement.
Okay. I open the door. Mm, Witnesses, I'm afraid I haven't seen anything.
Oh, it's you, sir. It's Dr. Devlin. Uh, well, glorious to meet you. We weren't sure if you lived here or somewhere else, but we also wanted to meet you tonight and ask for your expert opinion.
Oh, on what? This murder?
Yes, it seems that a civilian within the city has been abducted or murdered or went missing. And we were simply asking around to see if anyone has potentially seen anything.
Do you have a photo or some sort of identification for this person?
Uh, he says yes. He brings out a photo, and it is of the corpse.
Ah, I see, I see. And does this like photo have his name on it? Is it, like official like documentation for him, or is it just like
No,
a
it is
photo
not.
of him?
It's just a photo of him. In fact, it it seems like he is still dead even in the photo. We were just looking around. We He's been missing for several days now.
Interesting. Who even is this gentleman? I don't see a name here.
We don't know actually. We just heard a complaint that someone has gone missing for a while, and we were searching around to see if anyone maybe seen where he went.
Forgive me, but you took up a task of finding someone, but you don't know who it is?
Correct.
Strange. Um, I see. Well, unfortunately, I haven't exactly been out and about. I'm very much a homebody. You see, um, I don't believe I have much information for you.
Give me a deception check.
Oh, yeah, 5.
Um, the guard. The guard wants to ask you a couple of more questions. Um, let's say we do find the man, and and if he is dead, is it alright if we bring the body to you for examination?
Well, that's perfectly fine. Um, Out of character question. Am I like the town's or city's coroner also, or am I just like a doctor in the town?
You are the coroner. You are the person that assesses
Oh,
bodies. Yes.
okay, okay. I guess if I'm sorry, if I knew that, I feel like I would have gone about this differently. I thought I was just like a doctor grave robbing. Um, okay, let me backtrack that then if I could, and I'll go about and be like, well, as a matter of fact, um,
Before you,
I
but wait,
yes,
before you say what you're going to say next, I want to provide something to you.
sure.
You do not know why, but you have a strange sense about you that this corpse can provide some secrets, that it could teach you something about your condition. You think it can help you, but you might be a bit too afraid if you tell the truth that they might take the corpse away from you.
Hmm. Okay,
So you are the coroner, but you kind of
but this
took
is a
this
body
body.
I want to keep,
You want
more
to
or
keep the
less.
body, and you kind of took it before like anyone else knew officially that it was dead. So that might raise some suspicion too.
Okay. Um, so I guess then I will keep what I initially said of like denying seeing anything. And then I'm sorry, what was the question? Oh, he asked if they do find it, bring it to me.
Mhm.
Yes, no, that's quite all right. Please. It's been rather slow, honestly. I don't think I've had a case in quite some time.
Okay. Well, thank you for thank you for answering the door at such an early morning time, Doctor. I'm sure you're probably very busy.
Oh, usually there's always something to do. I'm sure you know.
Yes, of course. Like investigating the whereabouts of some nobody.
Well, and with that, the best of luck. If all you have to go off of is a picture, uh, you'll need all the help you can get, unfortunately.
Indeed. Well, safe morning to you, Doctor. We'll come back another time, hopefully with more information.
Very well. Uh, no problem. Come back if you find anything.
Alright. Have a good day.
You too.
The guard kind of walks away into the snow. You can't really see him anymore.
Alright, I close the door, lock it up, and go back to the basement.
Alright, you close the door, you lock it, and you feel a sense of relief. You feel like you almost dodged a bullet.
Oh, okay.
You
When I get back down
uh-huh.
there, I'll kind of like go over to where the body is. Just be like, my. Each passing hour, you get even more interesting. Some mystery man you are.
Alright. So let me get back to reading for you for a second.
Sure.
Uh uh Once the guards leave, you are alone with the body once more. Now it has to have now it has to have been at least several hours, or perhaps due to the uh, claims of the guards, perhaps a few days of your theorized time of death. It is now time for your favorite part, dissection.
Fantastic.
Okay, you begin drawing lines across the torso and line your scalpel with the blades. Give me another strength check.
Ooh. Okay. Um, Let me also ask you this as I'm rolling this.
Mm-hmm.
Have I do, hmm, do I have like a reputation in this city or town, whatever it actually is, of
Yeah.
like being a good doctor or like the crazy doctor who just happens to be the coroner?
You have you're a little bit famous. You're known for being a bit eccentric, but also intelligent.
Okay. So like at this point I'm not necessarily like the mad doctor that I kind of am
I
in.
mean, you are you. You've always been Vincent. You've always been somewhat mad, but other people just kind of regard you as a bit weird, not full on
Okay.
insane.
Um I would say like all of it would probably pick up a lot more after uh the incident in case anyone else listens to this.
Question. Uh,
Yeah.
if you, what is the incident?
His
If
son
you want, you
dying.
can just DM it to me so we can keep it a secret.
Oh, if they listen to it, they listen to it, whatever.
Okay.
His son dying. Which I
Yeah.
guess we can clarify at this moment too, like
This your son has already died.
correct.
Mm-hmm.
That after his death though, like it
Mm-hmm.
would have gotten like worse and worse and worse because of course, that's when a lot of the experimentation started was like trying to help his
Mm-hmm.
son.
Yeah.
Um and yeah.
Yeah. Uh,
Um
so
okay,
the
so if I'm
dream,
already known as that then I okay, that's fine.
yeah, the
Um
dream continuity is gonna be maybe a little bit muddled, but that's on purpose. So
sure.
I'll tell you, everything about your backstory as you know it is still true. You have
Okay.
not gone to Barovia yet. You haven't really met the party yet. You don't know them. Your son
Okay.
has died already, and it's been a few years since. So you've
Okay.
experimented with necrology, learning all you can about human anatomy and so on, and also robotics. So
Sure.
you are also the coroner of this town because you've always been. It's been your job even when you were a father.
Gotcha. At any point in my past, have I canonically, like, grave robbed, for lack of a better term, the bodies that I've been responsible for being the coroner of?
Um, I will say you've never grave robbed, but you have examined some corpses without permission before.
Okay, how do you mean? Like,
Like you've
in
never
this
taken
sense? Like, I've
you never taken a corpse from its death area. You never taken anything from a body, but you have looked at bodies. You have examined people and didn't report corpses before, but that's about it. You've
okay,
never taken anything.
okay. So this would be, like, one of the worst things he's done, like, finding a body, taking it home, and lying to the cops about it, essentially.
Yes.
Okay, just want to clarify that.
No problem, no problem.
Um, so yeah, he'll kind of be maybe like kind of giddy and kind of like giggling to himself as he uh starts cutting him up, and I got an 18 on the strength check, 15 plus 3.
Sweet. All right.
I wonder what mysteries you do have.
All right. You turn up the temperature a bit to help you cut the corpse a bit. And you open the torso wide open, delighting in the slow, methodical procedure. You can hear cold flesh tear under your blade as you slice apart the epidermis, and smile at tearing the flesh with your hands to its sides. You are surprised by what you see, though. There is no blood within any of the tissue.
Uh, hmm,
The organs are completely deprived of oxygen as they resemble a pale yellow complexion. This shouldn't be possible. If the body was held upside down, and if it was struck with anything or fell or anything, there should be some internal hemorrhaging too.
exactly.
But
Yeah.
but there is none.
So can I then go and investigate his like neck or head for any laceration where he might have been able to bleed out of?
Absolutely. Go ahead, give me a investigation or medicine check.
That'll be an 18.
There is no signs of any openings within the neck, but you do see a peculiar scar, but it seems like the scar has is much older than the time of death. Years. Years.
Okay. Anything to note of the scar? Where is it?
It is directly across the neck, almost in a complete circle around it.
Okay.
So, this is confounding to you why there might not be any blood, and the
Uh-huh.
peculiar scar, too. You begin to try and locate the source of the exsanguination, and deduce three ways how blood can leave the body post-mortem. Severe injury, which seemed like the case, but you would have seen signs of blood around where you were digging.
Mm-hmm.
Drugs that prevent clotting, but that also seemed improbable. And lacerations of the major arteries, which
Yeah,
are around the neck,
exactly.
some parts within the leg, and a lot in the chest.
Yeah. Does he have any lacerations like uh, I can't think of the there's the carotid like in your neck, but isn't
Yes.
there one also like in your leg, like in your like inner thigh or
The
something like
femoral
that?
artery.
Femoral, yeah, yeah. Are any of those sliced on his legs?
Give me investigation.
That'll be a 21.
No. No scarring around anywhere where you know the major arteries would be, except for around the neck, and that neck scar seems mostly skin deep anyway.
Okay. Uh, can I be cheeky and backtrack? You said I noticed like pinpricks on the legs before. As I'm
Mm-hmm.
reinvestigating the legs for lacerations,
Mm-hmm.
do I notice anything extra about those pinpricks?
Not particularly. The,
Okay.
like maybe some shards of sharp rock if he fell,
Mm-hmm.
or if he was attacked, maybe he might have been tortured with small blades, but you wouldn't think anyone would do that.
Okay. It would also be interesting if he was hung upside down, so like his he was obviously hoisted, so his legs would be higher anyway, so it wouldn't really make sense to attack like something that high, I guess. So it's more interesting that there isn't more damage to like his head, neck, and chest.
Mm-hmm.
Um, okay, I will continue with the dissection.
All right, cool. So you peel apart the the skin, the any remaining fat within the chest, and you very clearly see very pale and deprived blood and bone. Looking at the chest area, now completely exposed to you, you see something extremely strange.
Okay.
The clavicle bone, which connects to the scapula and sternum, so the parts of the rib cage, is completely untouched. Uh, which is weird because you were certain that it was broken a moment ago.
Okay, that's what I was gonna say, cause okay. Um, can I see like are any of those bones in the surrounding area broken that I might have been able to mistake it for?
You would. You're pretty experienced with this whole thing by now. You know what the clavicle is. You know where everything is, and especially now that it's all exposed to you, you could not have mistaken it.
Interesting.
You know that it was. You know with certainty that it was broken earlier, but now it simply isn't.
Is there anything reflective on the bone where like it could have broke? Like his neck, for example, had the line from a scar. Is there anything on the bone that shows like where it could have refused together? Like if you break a bone, it's still obvious. It doesn't heal 100%.
Give me your choice of perception or medicine.
I'll do a medicine. 9.
No, you do not see any signs of where it might have been broken earlier. It it looks like as if it was always healed.
Fascinating. Hmm. Um, okay. I feel like Vincent knows his anatomy.
Mm-hmm.
So he's going to cast Detect Magic to see if there's maybe anything magical about this body.
All right. With a, I would say just to make it canon, and you you went into magic to sort of figure out alternative ways to heal your son, and maybe even give power and life to the robotics you use for your son too. So that is how you
Hmm.
learn magic, or why. And you've been practicing with it ever since his death as well. So you're a man of death, robotics, and magic, making you a very intelligent yet scatterbrained person.
I'm the Netflix original Love, Death, and Robots.
Uh, Death, robots, and magic. Yeah.
That's
So that is
yes.
you, and you
Sure.
cast you wave around your hands and summon a an ethereal glow from them and shoot it towards the body, and it hovers around the body, illuminating it. But it doesn't really give any sort of magical aura back to you. You don't think this body is magical.
Interesting. Hmm. Curiouser and curiouser. Well, my no-named fellow, how does a dead man perfectly regenerate a bone? Suppose you won't tell me? I pick up the scalpel. I'll just have to dig deeper.
Where are you
And
cutting?
um I guess I'll just continue with the dissection or the um autopsy.
Okay.
Um so I'm already like at his upper chest. I guess I'll
Yeah.
start going like down, so like where his like ribs are and whatnot.
All right. You go down more and more and more. Everything seems perfectly in order. As if this body was just recently dead.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you go down more and more, and you go to check the arteries leading to the leg because you know that his leg was asphyxiated.
Sure.
And as you're continuing the autopsy, it seems that the discoloration of the leg has also self-corrected.
Okay. I feel a jump scare coming. I feel like I can picture it like he's looking down at the table slicing and like he wipes sweat off his brow and like as he turns his head, he like sees the two legs, but one is like obviously like more pink now. It was like blue/black and then like I don't know, like gray, I guess.
Hmm.
And now it's like starting to not, I guess not pink up, but like gray,
Come
gray
back to
more
life.
evenly. Yeah. So he'll be like, I wonder. And then he'll go over to where the eyes are and like force one open and see if there's any like pupil reaction with the lights in the lab.
Okay. You grab a source of light and hold it up to the corpse's head while prying open the eyelids. And the blood, the trucking within the eye has also reduced.
Is there any reaction of the iris?
No.
Hmm. I have a strange feeling. Does my table have any like probably not, but like straps, like an actual like medical bed, like to
Sure.
secure the hands and feet.
Sure.
Okay. I will do that. He has an uneasy feeling.
Okay. So you begin to assemble leather straps to the corpse that you might assume to be undead.
Hmm.
And
He hums Rihanna's S&M as he does it.
oh my god. So, so you strap the body down and
Yes.
wait a bit in some amount of horror for it to maybe come back to life, but it never does.
But everything is, for lack of a better term, healing still, or no? Has it stopped?
The only thing that did not heal was the parts where you began the autopsy, where you revealed his rib cage. Everything else has healed.
Okay. Even the like bruises and hematoma on his ribcage.
Yes.
Okay. Hmm.
I will tell you this. So
Yes.
you you didn't think drugs were in the person's bodily system as to blood loss could why blood clotting might have happened. So
Uh-huh.
you're trying to theorize on why it didn't even have blood because you can't think of how a body can heal without blood.
Sure, yeah. Doesn't make sense.
So you have the idea of trying to maybe test one of the body's organs to see if there was any drugs within its system.
Oh, I have the capability of doing that? Okay.
Yes,
Then I will.
you have a little alchemical table within
Okay.
your lab too.
Okay, sweet. I will start with like I guess like how modern is it? Am I able to do like a hair sample or should I like go to the stomach to see like the contents and sample something from there?
Well, you wouldn't really get anything from the blood sample with the hair, and the stomach also looks pretty emaciated. The only thing that seems to still have some semblance of blood in it is the eyes, or maybe because drugs tend to get filtered through the kidneys, you can try the eyes for blood or the kidneys.
I will start with the eyes.
Okay.
And I'll go a little quicker because if he's healing, I want the blood that's there now, not the ones that are like receding back into nothingness.
All right. So you grab some metal prongs and basically mechanically pry his eyelid open. And with a sort of an embalming tool that resembles somewhat like a spoon, you literally scoop the corpse's eye out. You now have you now have the eye of a regenerative corpse in your hand after cutting it from its stem.
Even outside of the body, does it continue to like get less and less bloodshot?
It seems to get a little bit more bloodshot now that it's separated from the corpse.
Interesting. I will try to get a blood sample from it from one of the veins in the eyes, and
Mm-hmm.
I will test it. See what I can find out about it.
Okay. So you have an alchemical table within your laboratory, and you take the eyeball to the table and cut the organ in half with some blood spurting out. You put one half in a beaker which contains an acidic solution and another in a non-acidic solution. The pH within the body system should turn the acid green if it's above the normal balance of 6.2. So it should turn green if there are drugs in its system.
Okay.
The solutions dissolve both the halves, and neither seem any different. The control variable in the non-acidic solution simply changes color to match the blood or the eye, and the acidic solution doesn't change at all. Drugs were not within the victim's system upon death,
Interesting.
or subjects, I mean. Would,
Quite a strange man you are.
would you like to think of any more tests to conclude?
Um, Nothing that comes to mind now. I would also feel like it's kind of late for the doctor, so he'll make sure the straps are on tightly and head upstairs, lock the basement door, and he might try to get some rest.
Alright, so you stay up a bit, trying to think of the corpse, what kind of anomaly or scientific or magical that it could be. And you pace a bit, forming all these different theories in your mind, and sleep kind of avoids you as your mind just rushes on what this thing is.
Hmm.
But you get an idea. You get a very morbid idea.
Oh.
If this body is so good at repairing itself, would it still heal as well to prosthetics? The idea of giving it mechanical limbs and artificial organs begins to excite you. And that is where we can end the dream for now.
Okay, also to help test his theory,
Hmm.
he before heading upstairs, he will like like the Y incision that they do for autopsies.
Okay.
He will like put those folds of skin back to see if like in the morning or whenever he decides to check on it again if like it fuses back together or not.
Okay. So yeah, you reseal it, you stitch it,
I
and then
don't stitch it.
or you don't stitch it.
I, no, I want to see if it will, if like, it's a mild test of the power of the regeneration.
Okay.
Like, if it can seal itself, or like,
Hmm.
would it still need to be like attended to, but like they just heal faster than normal, you know?
Okay, so you do this before you head upstairs to sleep, or you come back down to it?
I'll say I do it before,
Okay. So you do that and you head upstairs to sleep.
and
And
then yeah,
you
I
get the
have all the
idea to
theories and.
try to mess with it basically.
Mhm.
And that is act 1 of your dream called Auto.
Okay, I'm gonna make Echo.
Okay. So
Echo.
what do you think so far?
Pretty good. Very interesting.
All right.
Also, I legit need to still think of a name for my son.
It could be literally anything.
Alright, his name is literally anything. We call him LA for short.
Funny. All right. So yeah, that is what I wrote for Dream 1 for Vincent.
Oh my.
It's gonna get a lot weirder from here.
Oh, that's fine. Bring it on.
So now how it's gonna work is everybody gets their first dreams for free, and then you'll have to complete in game during actual sessions certain milestones to level up your dark gift. And as you level up your dark gift, you will also gain more dreams.
Sure. So now, like, seeing that my dream is connected to, like, dismemberment, more or less, is that what I have to do to level it up?
I already gave you your milestones, but I can read you them again. So your milestones going all the way up. Your milestones are harvest a large graveyard, making meaning take anything you can find, limbs, organs, or even trinkets off of corpses.
Okay.
Kill a very powerful undead, so something that is very strong against you.
Sure. Yeah, yeah. I remember us talking about that now.
Um, Die at least 3 times through accidental causes in one day.
In one day. Jesus.
A-
Um,
And then, uh,
okay.
and then your last one. You don't have to do these in any particular order. These are just 4 ones that you can do. Uh,
Sure.
and the last one is dissect a ghost.
Gotcha. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Perform an autopsy on
Um,
a spirit.
how, uh, hmm, what would qualify like an accidental death? Like, would me accidentally
Basically,
killing myself by using.
think of it as like rolling a nat one on a skill check, and I would say when and if it kills you doing so.
Well, also remember, if I roll in at one, I
You also gain
my
those things.
cacophony thing goes off.
But doesn't it say that it only happens during combat, or am I wrong?
Uh,
I have it right here. Let me
Voices
just read it.
from Beyond immediately after you make an attack roll, an ability check, or a saving throw,
Okay.
and
So,
roll a 1 on the d20.
all right. So we'll upgrade it. Instead of rolling a nat one, just a very low roll in general, like 5 or below. Uh, there's a chance that whatever you attempted can result in your death, and that would be considered accidental. And if it happens 3 times in one day, or 24 hours, then that would be a milestone. Basically, dying consecutively is a milestone.
Okay, so technical question. Like 5 on the die or like total 5 or less?
Um, I was thinking total, but depending on what it is, the DC might even raise. So if you're trying to do something
Well,
that even you admit would be hard for Vincent, then the DC would raise, and I could say that he dies or not.
the only reason I say that is like, for example, my investigation is a +6, so it would never be 5 or lower.
Okay, then. So
You know what I mean? So like
then it would
that's
have to
why,
be. So then it would have to be a higher DC. Got it.
yeah, I mean,
Just it really it's role play heavy. So
sure.
it would just depend on what is being attempted and how disastrously it could go.
I mean, we could
Context
even
matters.
add that onto like an effect, So like maybe instead of a D4, we could add 2 more effects. And like one of them is dying, unless you want dying to be more often than this.
Well, these milestones are a little bit subject to change, so I'll definitely have to adjust them in time if they're too hard or too contextual to do. But basically, these things are meant to provide role play opportunities or consequences, and they will always provide some kind of benefit to you of your choosing, but it will also
Hmm.
provide a flaw each time too. So you are already at level 1 in your dark gift, which means
Hmm.
you got the dream for free. And if you do any of these milestones or something similar, then you would upgrade to level 2 and pick a boon of your choosing and automatically get the flaw too.
Okay, but at least me, like not even player like Mimi, I don't know the flaws yet, right?
No, no, you don't know what the flaws are, but you will once you get them. Right now, your only flaw is the voices from beyond thing, where low roll equals uh,
Okay.
a 1d4. That's your level 1 flaw. You will learn
Okay,
level
I
2, 3,
cuz
4 once it happens.
sure. Because I mean, I would throw out there for what it's worth, like some of these are like detrimental, like especially if it's in combat.
Mm-hmm.
Like being deafened, horrific. Uh being frightened, not so bad. Um so I mean, I don't know if how like how much you want to turn it into like a wild magic table of like
It is a wild
adding
magic
like
table. Like
well yeah.
I'm not gonna say what it is, but I for level 2 I added 4 more flaws, so it becomes a 1d8.
Oh god. Well, mm, okay. Can I know, are all of them bad or are some of them just like meh? Like, or not
What do you
meh,
mean?
but like, so like, at least right now for the 1d4, one of them is good.
Yes, for the next 10 minutes, you can ask your spirits about the results of a specific course.
Yeah.
Sure,
So
most of
like
them
for the next
are,
four, is one of them good?
um,
No.
Um, Apparently not. I didn't write any benefits to it. So no, the rest are bad. Only the 4 is good.
What? Why? Why you hate me?
I mean, well, I gave you like the most amount of boons as well for you to choose. I think you and Squeaks have the most options for good things.
Wow, favoritism much?
Well, yeah, you're my best friend and she's my girlfriend. So yeah, probably a little bit. But you gain
Chat, don't clip that.
so pretty much every level comes with a innate upgrade and an innate flaw. So I
Okay.
won't say what level 2 innate upgrade is, but you also get something good when going to level 2 along with whatever you choose.
Okay, okay. So I just get like a base perk level up and then I get to pick something off of a list
Yes. And
for
that
like
is
the
how
skill.
it will work
Okay,
for
okay.
everybody. Yeah. Except
Sweet.
the only thing where it's kind of different is Reginald, where he progresses through milestones like everyone else, but he has a random chance, depending on me, of receiving Eldritch pages that can lead to a tome that he can read, and that will give him a permanent boon. So he has
Hmm.
potential to get every boon just randomly.
Sure. Yeah, because you're a simp for, what is it, Emmaus Mora?
You shut your face.
I just like reading. It's kind of cool.
He's a wizard. Reading and getting smarter is like all he does.
It's true, it's true. I'm just teasing
I hate you.
you.
You know what? Con saving throw.
What?
um. Yeah. For example, your level 2. I won't say what it is, but your level 2 innate upgrade is specifically for when you die and become a ghost again.
I okay. I bet it has something to do then with my interaction of other ghosts.
You could theorize all that you want, but yes, it is an innate upgrade for when you decide to become a ghost, either willingly or accidental.
Your wordage is interesting. When I choose to become a ghost, is that so is that something that then has to come up in the campaign of we have to be a ghost to do a certain thing?
You know,
Which makes
hey,
me
look, a
think then
butterfly.
I can only harvest ghosts when I'm a ghost. So I would have to either die or kill myself to be able to either harvest from myself or other ghosts.
Hey, look, a butterfly. But yes, I got like a wave of passion for this little skill tree thing for all of you. So
You had a wave
you,
of passion for this whole campaign.
yeah, I've been riding a high for like 5, 6 months.
I know you have.
But it's gonna be the best thing ever, and I'm gonna make the best D&D campaign ever. And yeah,
For sure.
but yeah, I really hope you liked what I wrote for you, and I hope this incentivizes you to do the milestones so you can get more of the story and more upgrades.
Yay. What was it? Where did you put everyone's milestones?
It's
It's
in
in the server, right?
it's in general and pinned.
Okay, that's what I thought. I knew it was pinned somewhere.
For example, Charlotte's is to give 5 different people a different ailment in one day. Uh, Poison a creature that is normally immune to poison, or roll a nat 20 on a 2 poison attempt. Uh, take a new ailment that has killed someone else in the past. Form a biome of raw disease and bacteria.
Okay, so I know the Lottie that like I've seen Blue play,
Mm-hmm.
but is her whole thing like centered around like contagion and contaminants
Yeah.
then? Interesting.
So her dark gift is a custom one I made specifically for her,
Hmm.
and it is all about contagion and illnesses. So it's a homebrew version of the contagion spell,
Yeah.
where touch based they have to do con saves, otherwise they're poisoned, and then once they succeed, they get a random ailment that she has access to.
Okay.
A random
Um,
list, I mean.
does she already have the start gift or
Yes.
not yet
Yeah, all
canonically?
of you have your dark gifts now. Kieran has his lycanthropy. You have your spirit whispers. Reginald has eldritch communion. Squeaks has her afterglow or afterlight. All of you have your dark gifts.
Okay. I guess, but they only more or less like got turned on in Barovia, right? It's not something we've had our whole life.
It is not something you had your whole life. It is something that formed recently. Yes.
Okay. Because I was gonna ask, like, traveling with Charlotte, would he have noticed like people getting
No.
sick around her? Okay.
No. Uh, I don't. You can ask Blue if you want. Well, you already know because of her Artois curse that she has some kind of leprosy-like illness.
Yeah,
Um,
something or other. Because that's the
so
whole
yeah,
family that we're working for to, like, end the latch Jeffert, like she was saying in the last session, like,
yeah,
I was supposed to heal them, blah, 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 blah.
correct. So that's why her whole thing is about giving her control over illnesses in general. But
Sure.
the drawback is that her ability to control her own curse gets worse.
Hmm. Okay.
And I really, really,
Interesting.
really love all the ideas I had for the level 4 flaws,
Oh, God.
the ultimate penalty. Because another thing that I put in the rules already is that in the finale of these dream stories, there comes a pivotal point where your character has to make a decision that they cannot take back. And they can either choose to forsake their dark gift permanently, which will affect the ending, or they can choose to embrace it, also affecting the ending. And if you embrace it, you gain access to basically ultimates or
Interesting.
ultimate of your choosing, and an innate flaw you can't get rid of it either.
Yeah, I guess it's hard to discern now. I need to see, like, what the flaws are more as we play, but that sounds really interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yours,
Okay.
I really like too as well.
All right.
But yeah, that is that is basically Dream One of Auto, your little mini story.
Very
So
nice.
yeah, and this little mini stream will appear on YouTube soon, and I'll put it in the server if anyone wants to watch it. All right,
But
and
they're gonna know about my secret backstory.
I'll just bleep it.
Beep. Yeah, beautiful.
All right, so
Goodbye, stream.
goodbye, stream. Bye bye.
Bye bye.